ladies and gentlemen, to another episode. Let's watch these two crazy clips, and then we're going to come back and talk about it.
Get pregnant. So I'm like, hey, now I'm like, I got to cut it off. I can't do this no more. I'm pregnant. And he was like, you know what the baby daddy is? I'm like, yeah, it's my husband. You know what I'm saying? He was like, no. I'm like, yeah.
Do I smell a whore?
So he's telling me I'm pulling the condom off. I'm like, what the f*** is this?
Whose baby was it?
It was the husband's. Well,
Okay.
Shit, we ain't never do a paternity test. We just going off. Shit. We're going off of looks.
Okay.
And she looks like the other siblings, so we just say it's the husband's.
Raggedy bitch.
Y'all be cheating on y'all boyfriend and y'all get pregnant. Why do y'all tell on yourselves? Just let your boyfriend be the baby daddy. Just let it be what it is.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
You don't have to tell him nothing. And when he get to question you, gaslight him. Like, so you really think this not your baby?
Out of Peppy.
And if you have to, even threaten him. Say, if we gotta do a DNA test, my baby not getting your last name. Dudes love for their kids have their last name. Like, they take so much pride in it. They act like it's the most important thing in the world. But telling on yourself is a no. And I know some people are like, oh, well, your child deserves to know who their biological parent is.
Her womb is so polluted.
Do what's best for your child. Some people don't have a daddy in their life at all, and it's their real daddy. It's about the man who stepped up to be daddy. Being a dad is way more than being blood related. But y'all don't want to listen. Y'all just want to get on here crying on the internet because y'all chose the wrong baby daddy. Y'all want to talk about how this dude a deadbeat, but he was never in a relationship with you anyway. So did you really think that he cared about you? You really think that he would care about a child that came out of you? Look, y'all ain't got to take my advice, but ask yourself, would he be honest with you? If he went and made another baby with somebody else, would he tell you? Or he gonna let you find out on your own?
All right, so I know what y'all thinking. These heifers is pure evil. I know. I agree with you. So let's get into it. DNA should definitely be mandatory at this point. Of course, some women may get offended, feel the type of way, but if you ain't got nothing to hide, it's not a big deal, in my opinion. Pregnant by one man, pinning the baby on another man. I call it baby games. You know, this is the type of stuff that get you killed. The selfishness, the evilness. And I disagree with her saying that if you do this, this is in the best interest of the child, because what's done in the dark always comes to the light. Lying about your child's paternity is only going to blow up in your face. And I know it for a fact because it happened to my husband. Way before I met him, he had a child with a woman, but he was a minor still. And the woman was not a minor. She was older. So my husband's son, she told another man he was the father. And this went on for 20 something years. And I saw the firsthand devastation that happened to my husband. My husband tried to reach out to the other guy, but he didn't want to deal. The young man ended up passing away. And that's when the majority of everything came out, when my husband's son passed away. But prior to that, it was always a question mark, is this his child or not? Once the home DNA test became more accessible, we did that. And that's how we confirmed that was my husband's child. But for the first 20 years, it was back and forth. You know, things were so iffy. She was scandalous, lying about it, and my husband found out. That's why I'm like, going this route is never okay. You may think it's okay, it's a temporary band-aid, but it's going to come out. The truth is going to come out. So he would go years without talking to her, years without talking to the child, because in her mind, the other dude was the better father. So they went on to have their family. But we ran into her one day. Now, at this point, me and him are married and have a child. We ran into her, and the child may have been 7, 9, and he was trying to still ask her, you know, is this my child? What's going on? Because he always felt like it was his child because she told him that was his child. And he, you know, found out she wasn't honest, but he would later find out that she was telling someone else he was the father. And so she didn't want my husband to be publicly known as the father. But she was going to allow him to come around. And I'm like, no, we're not about to keep no secrets. If this is his child, let's put it out there and do what we need to do. And she said no. So then there was another year's worth of hiatus. It would go like that. And then, like I said, we did the home DNA test, found out this was his son. And it might have been 6 to 9 months later, and then the young man died. Now that is a tragic story, and I made it long story short. The story is horrific, and this is my husband's real life. So to this day, he had a son that he got to spend maybe the first couple of months of his life with, and then the last couple of months of his life with, and that was it. He missed everything in between. So when I see scandalous females like this, my mind wants to tell me she's trolling. This is just to go viral. This is not real. But the mature adult inside of me understands that it's some scandalous, evil people in this world. It's some people who really get down like this. Now, I don't personally know any outside of what my husband went through. Could I have a friend or family member who did this and just wasn't vocal about it? Sure. But I don't really know people who get down like this. But I think that either you're trolling the internet or this is really what you think, how you move. We heard a child in her background, maybe she did it, and she's pushing this agenda to tell other women to play with their life, their child's life, and some innocent man's life. And I just think that as you get older, you realize there's such a benefit into just being honest and transparent. To me, lying is like for kids and younger people who have a fear. Once you get older, if you messed up and made a mistake, it ain't like you can get no whooping. It's easier to live in your truth, if you will, as you get older. But the scandalous sleeping with one man or sleeping with multiple men unprotected, getting pregnant, like we've seen this happen time and time again. Then you got women who can't live with the devastation and the decision that you made. Instead of just putting it out there, facing it, and then you did it, it's done. You don't have to face it again. Nobody can really shame you as much if you're just honest and put yourself out there. Now let's think about the effects it have on the child. Let's take my husband's son. We thought he would hate his mother and be resentful for everything, but it didn't happen that way. He was very much protective of his mother and didn't place any blame on her. But how many young men gonna really feel that way? Most young men would be upset, enraged, furious at their mother, probably go years without speaking to her. Things could even get physical. Not all sons is just going to take that on the chin. I didn't have my real father around. Playing with people in this type of manner, because you got to think, not only did she put my husband's child on an innocent man, that man's whole side of the family was involved because they thinking, this is my nephew, this is my grandchild. You know, when it came time to bury my husband's son, that was a fiasco because of the lack of father on the obituary. You know, my husband wanting to go and mourn and be at his son's memorial, but he don't want to be around this scandalous heifer. And it took God to keep my husband from putting hands on that woman because of what she did to him. Mind you, we have children that don't really know him, who, you know, hear us talking about him and they asking, who is this? And you got to always bring in the fact that he was unalived in a horrific way. It's just a lot of pain and trauma associated with things like this. And these chicks be thinking it's funny. They think it's a joke or it's a cute little video to go online and tell you, just pin the baby on somebody else, or just gaslight it. Use the bond that he wants to have with his future child. Use the whole last name thing. Of course, it's important for men to name their child and the child to have that man's last name, and you're going to use that against them. I mean, this is evil and sorcery on a whole nother level. This is that Jezebel spirit that we have to expose and destroy in these last days, because this is the type of stuff that tear up our families. This is why now a lot of men are like mandatory DNA just for their peace of mind, and I'm not mad about it. I don't have no beef with a man wanting a DNA test. Everybody's minds can be at ease. And as far as the woman from the first clip, she just as reckless. You know, I don't get I will never understand being pregnant by one man and letting another man touch you in any type of sexual way. I personally don't understand it. I think, you know, it should make you nauseous, but that's just me. A lot of y'all are so promiscuous and so gone mentally. Y'all are so for the streets. Y'all mind is so corrupted that you don't even understand what it's like to bring a life into this world and not be so sluttish and just have you a time where you sit down and you be to yourself and learn how to be a mother and deal with a man versus hopping from man to man and getting out of this man and into that man's bed and all them spirits that's associated with rod hopping. Y'all leave me a comment. Let me know what y'all think about these two scandalous heifers here. Until the next time, I will catch y'all on the next episode. Peace out.